It's 11/11/2020. This is a significant day because of the sequence of numbers. It ends a 101-year cycle and begins a new one. So anything that's been going on through the past 101 years, especially spiritually, and any kind of divine intuitiveness that's been happening collectively, this cycle and what we were supposed to learn and how as a collective humanity we were supposed to grow is going to be changing into a new level. We're up leveling like video games. We're going to a new level. I haven't played video games in a while, which is sad, but I digress. So I thought that since it's a waning crescent moon, which preparing us for a new moon, so we're releasing anything that we've learned that does not serve us since the last new moon cycle. So what in this past month have you learned about yourself or your life that isn't helpful, isn't supporting your goals or what you're working to manifest? We're going to work on letting that go. And with the moon being in Virgo, it encourages us to ground. And it encourages us to get organized, to make a list. Even if you want to make a list of the things you want to let go of, or make a list of ideas of intentions for the next new moon or goals that you want to set. And then the moon cycle is a good way to measure your progress on that and to do check-ins as the moon phases change. Because the moon represents our internal self, our emotional self. So how we're feeling about our goals, it's a good way to assess, how do I feel about my accomplishments and how far I've gotten? And you can assess those, and the moon kind of guides us in the timing of when it's time to work on our goals and how, etc., which I share a lot on my TikTok. So I pulled a card out of the Secret Language of Color cards because color was really calling to me. I was really feeling called to discuss the vibrations of colors. It's interesting that blind people are the ones who have established a lot of the color sciences that we're doing now, outside of Newton, of course, establishing the different vibrations of color and how that all works. But blind people can actually feel and sense that. And people who use their sight aren't as in tune with it as they are aware of. They are in tune with it. They just aren't as conscientious of it as someone who doesn't have vision. They know what colors are a lot of times through their vibration. So I pulled a color today, and I pulled auburn. And strangely, it's an 11. And that was kind of silly. And my master number is 11. My life path number is the master number 11, and my expression number is an 11. My heart's desire is an 8. So I have a lot of 11 energy in my life. My partner is also an 11, and in his life path, and 11s get along really well. In fact, I would say that numerologically speaking, I have noticed the patterns of my relationships, romantic relationships especially, match life path number relationships, and then the subsequent other two really primary numbers, which are your heart's desire, soul urge, and your expression number. Those come into play to me. I've noticed that more than the astrological stuff. But I'm not an astrologer. I follow it. But I feel like the vibration of numbers, maybe because I'm an energy worker, I don't know. But planets and all that have their own energy, as do the constellations. So I don't know. I will just say that it resonates with me even more than somebody's chart, because there's so many dynamics going on in a birth chart with houses and whether something is opposing something else. And there are so many things at play. It's way too complex. And numbers kind of simplify it a little bit more for me. And they sum up something a lot easier for me than astrology. It gets really deep. And I admire people who can get into that. But I get bored too fast. So, Auburn reminds us, especially with this moon being in Virgo, it's a really great card to pull because it's reminding us to ground ourselves. We are up leveling as a collective consciousness. We are up leveling spiritually speaking. And what's great is, I don't mean to be a total jerk, but the spiritual community kind of began to turn into its own religion even though they down-talked religion. And that was really frustrating for me. So I avoided talking about spiritual stuff a lot for years because I could see the correlation of spiritual leaders and when I mean leaders, I don't mean like actual leaders like Dalai Lama and stuff, but I mean people that were trying to make money off of spirituality. And I had an internal conflict with that. I always have. But what I don't have an internal conflict is the marriage of everything, is the connectedness and me guiding people towards their truest self. And Auburn is reminding us to ground ourselves while and envisioning this color. You can stand outside. It might be too cold to go barefoot, but if you could, it would be even better because you can feel the hum of the planet in under your feet when you put your bare feet in solid earth and meditate. And maybe you feel a sound, because yes, you can feel sound, but you feel the vibration or you hear a sound or a hum in your head. Or the colors come to you, but remind yourself to feel auburn also, because whatever colors you come to you, often with me, it's more of the etheric color spectrum. So remind yourself to have auburn intertwined with that. So you're still grounded to our planet Earth, which has the ability to transmute anything negative and toxic. So back to the releasing and letting go, we can imagine what we want to send to the planet Earth, because Earth's energy literally transmutes anything that's negative or toxic. It can transmute it into something that's beneficial. That's why rocks and crystals and stuff carry their own vibration, because different things have come together to create something not just beautiful, but healing or having its own property. And all of that has a unit of measurement in its vibration, which is all fascinating science to me. So this is a reminder for anybody who does any kind of spiritual practice, even if they're witches and they are doing ritual work, because every religion has a ritual too. We all do rituals. So I'm going to talk about witches also, because they have their own ritual work, and that's spiritual practice. It's an extremely spiritual practice. And a lot of times I've been seeing a lot of posts lately about people who are doing some kind of intent work, meditation, manifestation work, or even exhaustive prayer, and they feel drained afterwards. There's a way to practice that without feeling drained afterwards. When you are releasing and you are mindfully sending anything to the earth, even as a practitioner, I will feel somebody else's stuff, whether my hands are on them because I'm doing body work or we're talking about something deep. I will feel that move through my body, and I'm empathic, so I am able to relate better to other people, and I'll feel it move through me, and it talks to me, it speaks to me, it tells me something important that helps me feel even more related to that other person, and then I send it into the planet. And I mindfully am aware of it's coming out of my palms of my hands and the soles of my feet, sending into the earth to transmute into something beautiful, whether it's for that person specifically or the earth knows exactly what to do with it. I don't need to worry about that or control it. We just send it to the earth. So when you're doing any kind of grounding work, if you're going to do any kind of ritual practice, anything that's going to entail a lot of meditation, intention, manifestation, ground yourself first and afterwards. Soak in Epsom salts, because that will take the negative charge out if there's a negative charge, or if you've picked up something, some residue. Do any kind of energetic bathing, movements with the body that are related to energy, such as Tai Chi, polarity exercises, Qigong, those kinds of stretches. Yoga would be helpful. Gentle, mindful yoga, not to show off, but to get your spiritual and physical body, spiritual self, your spiritual etheric body and your physical body back together, working together in unison. So enjoy your 11/11 day. Know that whatever you're feeling right now is passing, and the more intense you're feeling, the more initiated you're being. I had a friend tell me once that it always rains the most wherever you see a field of flowers. Enjoy.